The following contest is an Ironman match. On the way to the ring, from Los Angeles, California, Melina. And the opponent, from Richmond, Virginia, Mickie James.
Looking forward to this match all night, JR. I can't believe it's finally underway.
This has been a hotly anticipated contest, and as far as I'm concerned, it's living up to the hype.
No question about that, JR. The fans certainly seem to be into it, that's for sure.
And when it comes down to it, that's all that matters. Excellent counter. What ring presence.
It looks like they've slowed the match down a little, and I think that's some good strategy right there.
It certainly is. I'm sure they're well acquainted with the old expression, fools rush in.
Is that why you always seem to be in such a hurry, JR?
I think I've eaten a little too much good Oklahoma barbecue in my day, King, to hurry anywhere. We could be looking at a pinfall here, folks.
What a counter! Think you'd be watching these superstars compete against each other here tonight, JR?
I had a feeling their paths were going to cross sooner or later. And I'm glad I'm here to see.
Me too. It almost makes it worth having to sit next to you and listen to those corny expressions of yours. What the heck is a government mule anyway?
It's what you get beat like when you're in the middle of a slobber knocker. And if you don't have the guts to stick around, you might run like a scalded dog with a case of the limber. Her opponent is dazed and confused. Can she capitalize?
She sure can, JR. That Mick kick will do a number on anyone.
This capacity crowd is making their opinions known tonight.
They sure are, JR, and I love to hear it. I've got to say, JR, I'm really impressed by what we've seen here tonight.
How could you not be, King? These are some of the finest athletes in all of sports entertainment.
I know that, JR. I'm just saying that this has been a great match so far.
It has indeed, King, and I think it's...
I don't care how tough you are, JR. No one can take this kind of pain for long.
You're absolutely right, King. We've seen many superstars tap out to this very hole. I tell you, King, sometimes I get exhausted just watching these superstars compete.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't think most people appreciate what incredible athletes these WWE superstars really are.
Did you see that? Ring the damn bell! You can't let somebody get away with that.
I don't think the ref saw it, JR. And if the ref doesn't see it, it's not illegal. This has gone beyond just being a match, JR. I think these superstars genuinely hate each other.
There's no love lost between these contenders.
Exhibition is locked in, JR. And this is a tough hold to break.
It sure is, King. And even if you break the hold, it takes its toll on you.
I'd ask you who you want to win this matchup, JR, but it's been pretty obvious since the start of the show who you're pulling for.
I'm trying to remain as objective as I can, King. Quite frankly, I'd rather see a good competitive matchup than see a particular superstar win or lose this thing.
Oh, come on. Everyone knows you play favorites. You're always trying to kiss up to the fans by talking up whoever they're cheering for.
I've never been a kiss-up in my life, King, which is more than I can say for some people.
She's measuring her opponent.
Oh, man! She got all of that mitt kick, King.
You gotta respect the commitment and the dedication of these superstars to their careers.
No question about it, King. Every superstar on the roster has had to make more sacrifices.
Oh boy, these top rope moves can go either way.
Look at this! Look at this! You talk about a house of fire, you're seeing it right here!
Yeah, here's the pin! Could this be it?
Is that? No, only two.
These superstars sure aren't going easy on each other here tonight.
What'd you expect, King? This isn't ballet, you know.
Oh, really, JR? Gosh, tell me more about your in-ring experience.
Well,
Wow, there's a hole you don't want to find yourself in, JR.
you sure don't, King. We've seen many a superstar tap out to this one.
Wow, listen to these fans, JR.
You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all the people some of the time, but there's no fooling the WWE fans at all. Oh my, this is not what those ring ropes were meant to be used for.
Well, all's fair in love and war, JR. But after this, I don't think there's going to be a lot of loving in this superstar's future.
These superstars are going to put each other through wrestling hell tonight.
They've already got a pretty good start on that, JR.
They have indeed, King. I don't think there's an ounce of quit between them.
Yeah, that's where things get dangerous. If you're too proud to admit that it's not your night, you might wind up risking your career for a single match.
But at the same time, King, no one makes it up the ladder without pushing themselves to the very limit. It's a very fine line to walk. Oh, man, I think we're about to see a high-risk move here.
Oh, no! This is terrible! You can't let your opponent build this kind of momentum!
Well, all I can say is someone's been eating their vitamins and saying their prayers. Oh, boy, the adrenaline is pumping. I think this could be the beginning of the end.
No! It can't end like this! Come on, do something quick!
And it's been reversed.
You can look at any
This
professional...
capacity crowd is solidly behind their superstar. Look at this.
Wow! Could you be any more biased, JR? How about some fair and balanced commentary?
Boy, what a match. I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to who's going to win this thing.
What? Have you got both your contacts in one eye, JR? It's been obvious to me since the start of the match.
Oh, really? Well, then, why don't you just enlighten the rest of us, King?
No way! I can already tell this is going to be a great match, and I don't want to ruin the ending for you.
You're too kind, King. You're also full of horse manure, as far as I can tell.
Boy, it's obvious these superstars have done their homework on each other.
He went straight for the pin. No flies on him.
I think I know who's going to win this one, JR.
Oh, really? Enlighten us, King.
Wait a second. Why are you so eager to hear my prediction?
Because I want to know who's going to win. And 9 times out of 10, it's not the superstar you pick.
Yes! That was an incredible move! What strategy!
Strategy, my Oklahoma ass. That's cheap, plain and simple.
You know, JR, when I saw this match on paper, I wasn't too sure about it. But it's turned out a lot better than I thought it would.
I'm not at all surprised, King. I knew this was going to be a terrific matchup.
Oh, come on, JR. You're just talking through your hat. And speaking of hats, when are you going to get rid of that silly thing anyway?
Right about the time you stop wearing that crown, I would say.
CJR, this is exactly why Raw is the #1 brand in all of sports entertainment.
You're absolutely right, King. We've got the best superstars, the best band,
And the best announced team. Don't forget that.
I was going to say that until you interrupted me. Now I'm just hoping I haven't lost Taz's phone number.
So, how do you think this one's going to turn out, JR?
Honestly, King, I have absolutely no idea. Anything can happen here in the WWE.
So you've got to have a guess, right?
I might, but I'd rather keep it to myself if it's all the same to you, King. No! No! How can a referee allow something like that?
Come on, JR.
Can his opponent kick out of this pinning predicament?
JR's not going to be happy about this one, folks. I think one of his favorites is going to get beat like the proverbial government mule.
I'm not playing favorites, King. I might have issues with certain superstars as human beings, but I respect their in-ring abilities nonetheless.
JR, you're so full of it that you've got diarrhea of the mouth and constipation of the brain.
What a reversal.
You think this is going to be a back-and-forth kind of match? Or do you think this is going to be pretty one-sided, JR?
I couldn't tell you, King. These superstars are so unpredictable that you can never tell how a match is going to go.
That was a long way to go for a simple, I don't know, JR. So, JR, are you enjoying the match so far?
Yes, I am. I think these superstars are putting on one hell of an exhibition here tonight.
What's your favorite part of it so far?
I don't think it's happened yet. My favorite part of the match will be when you quit yapping and let me enjoy it.
Now, JR, keep your words soft and sweet because you may have to eat them later. I think these superstars are getting some feedback from the crowd, JR.
Nothing wrong with that, King. That's what we like to hear. And here's the pin.
1, 2, 3.
This is Raw action at its finest. And there's the submission. There might not be any way out of it.
There better be, or we're going to see a tap out right here.
I don't believe it. We might see a superstar get beat for their own finishing move here.
There's the pin.
1, 2, 3.
Well, from the looks of things, it's not hard to tell how this one's going to go.
What are you talking about, King? I think this is still an extremely competitive match that could go either way.
No, JR, it's obvious that the only exercise you get is stretching the truth or jumping to conclusions.
Well, judging from the shape I'm in, I don't appear to be doing too much of either, King. You're looking pretty fit, though, I must say.
After some of the things we've seen in this ring, JR, flat on your back with your shoulders on the mat is no place to be.
3.
Let me tell you, JR, you won't see action like this anywhere except on Raw.
That's for sure, King. There's not another brand of sports entertainment out there that can compare with Raw.
Now, if only we could get that through Michael Cole and Taz's heads, then they'd stop running their mouths on SmackDown.
1.
So, King, any predictions about the outcome of this match?
Oh, no. Every time I make a guess as to who's going to win, I never hear the end of it from you.
Maybe that wouldn't happen if you got one rival.
Climbing up the turnbuckle isn't bad. It's all the ways you could come down that hurt.
1, 2.
I think it's pretty obvious which way this one's going to go, JR.
Well, from my perspective, this is still anybody's match.
I'd like to see things from your perspective, JR, but I'd have to get my head out of my rear end first.
And Lord knows it's been up there for so long that that would be no easy feat.
6.
I've got a feeling that this has all the makings of an instant classic.
That's probably just gas, JR.
Well, I did have some good old Oklahoma barbecue before tonight's show, but I don't think that's it.
You talk about ruthless aggression.
This could be a pinfall.
1, 2, 3.
These superstars are beating the heck out of each other, and this crowd can't get enough of it.
It's what they paid to see, King. And
I don't know if his opponent has what it takes to kick out.
There's no room for error when you're on the top rope.
Any superstar shows the slightest hint of weakness. He's going for the pin.
Boy, when you look at these superstars, it really drives home the fact that Raw is the dominant brand of sports entertainment.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, JR. There's not a superstar on the Smackdown roster who could hold a candle to Raw's finest.
I wouldn't go that far, King. There are quite a few Smackdown superstars who I'd love to have on Raw.
Oh, come on, JR. Why would you want to lower the tone of the Raw locker room by bringing in some losers from SmackDown?
King, next time you call The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, and Chris Benoit losers, make sure you give me some warning so I can get the hell out of here before you do it. I don't want to be any part of what that's going to get.
I think I know who's going to win this match, but I don't want to say it. I'm afraid I'll jinx it.
Come on, King. Don't tell me you're superstitious.
Of course not, JR. I'm not superstitious because I know that's unlucky.
I think this crowd's giving these superstars a piece of their minds, King.
Are you sure they can afford it, JR? I don't think these superstars...
Would you look at that? A blatantly illegal maneuver. That should be a disqualification.
You might be right, JR.
Looks like he's trying for a pin here. These superstars are in terrific shape, and that comes as no surprise whatsoever.
No kidding. If you don't have that...
What a submission hold! Could this be a tap out?
It isn't. The hold can't be broken. You can't take this kind of pain for long. Here's the cover, JR.
1, 2. It looks like they've decided to slow the match down a bit here.
And this could be a big mistake, JR. You don't ever want to give an opponent time to recover.
No, but you're not going to do yourself much good in the match if you let yourself get bone tired either.
I talked to these superstars backstage before the match, and I don't think I've ever seen competitors so...
Oh boy, this is not going to be an easy hole to escape from.
It sure isn't, JR. I've been on the wrong end of that one many times. Looks like things have quieted down here a bit, JR.
Well, you can be certain that won't last long, King.
That's for sure. I haven't seen the superstar yet who goes down without a fight. Oh, man! That's going to change the tone of this match, JR.
Yeah, and not for the better either. I wish the refs would actually pay attention to what's going on. He's got his opponent in a pinning predicament. Sounds like this crowd's got something on their minds, King.
Who cares about them, JR? Look what's going on in the ring. We could have a pinfall here, JR. 2. This match has the potential to be an instant classic, and I think these fans are too stupid to realize it.
How can you say that, King? How can you insult the intelligence of these WWE fans?
Well, I heard that we gave them an IQ test, and the results came back negative.
Folks, I've got to apologize for the King here tonight. He must have gotten up on the wrong side of somebody else's bed this morning. I'm not so sure this was about winning or losing anymore. I think it's become more personal than that.
Of course it's personal, JR. Anytime you step into the ring with someone who wants to beat you down in order to win the match, it's personal.
I guess I can't argue with that, King. I just wonder if they'll be able to settle their differences. I think this crowd has decided to... And now a pin! This could be it!
I almost feel bad for Taz and Michael Cole. They never get to call matches as good as this. I think someone's going for a high-risk move, JR. These superstars are putting on a great match so far, JR. But if they drop the ball, these fans will let them hear about it.
I don't think that's going to happen, King. These competitors know that their paychecks come straight from the WWE fans. They're not going to let them down.
Yeah, but if they don't keep the fans happy...
If wishes were fishes, the world would be an ocean. But that's not the case now, is it? I'll tell you what, King, the WWE Superstars are about the greatest athletes you'll find in any sport, period.
What do you mean, just about, JR? Can you actually think of anywhere else that you can see athletes of this caliber?
I was just going for a little humility there, King. I'm not surprised it was lost on you. I'm sure these competitors have...
He's going for the cover, JR! I feel like the luckiest guy in the world, JR. I can't believe I actually get paid to do this job.
Well, don't let Mr. McMahon hear you say that, King, or you might wind up having to do it for free.
That's true. I don't think this superstar's going to be having any kids in the immediate future, JR.
I wouldn't think so, King. Not without a medical...
Oh, boy. This is getting nasty, JR.
That's for sure, King. These superstars will stop at nothing to obliterate each other right here tonight. That's a short climb, but a potentially long fall.
These superstars are so unpredictable, this match could go another 30 seconds or 30 minutes.
I hope it's the latter, King. It wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit if this match lasted the rest of the night. If one of these superstars starts to build momentum, it could be the beginning of the end of this match.
That's right, JR. You don't see a lot of matches won with one or two big moves.
You sure don't. You've got to lay the groundwork first.
7.
I think I see where this one's going, JR. I don't think we're very far from the end of the match.
I disagree entirely, King. I bet my Oklahoma Sooner ass if this one isn't even close to being over.
That's a pretty big bet, JR. Are you sure you're able to cover it? Man, is there even going to be anything left of these superstars by the time they're done?
Not if they have their way, King. Everything they came in here with tonight is going to be left in that ring, mark my words.
I hope these fans appreciate it, JR. These superstars are putting it all on the line for them right here tonight.
This match is going to continue until someone's completely debilitated. And considering the resiliency of these superstars, that's not going to be easy.
That's for sure. No one in this match is going down without a fight.
And I wouldn't expect any less from them, King. Like them or not, you've got to respect the tenacity of each and every WWE superstar.
The intensity of these superstars is unbelievable.
No doubt about that, King. The fans are getting their money's worth here tonight.
Uh-oh. Talk about a hole you don't want to find yourself in.
No kidding. This will rearrange your anatomy.
You think these fans have gotten their money's worth tonight, JR?
If they haven't yet, I'm sure they're going to by the end of this match.
Well, I don't say this too often, but I completely agree with you. Oh, boy. These fans have got something on their minds, JR.
Well, they paid for their tickets, King, and they've got a right to say whatever they want.
Look at this, JR. He's a 3 count away from a pinfall. so lucky that I'm actually getting to see these superstars wrestle each other.
Me too, King. This one has the potential to become an instant classic.
These superstars are going to...
He may get the 3 count here.
1, 2, 3.
I hate to be that referee, JR. Can you imagine having to tell one of these superstars no?
Boy, I think I've had nightmares about trying to do something like that, King. I tell you, King, I've got no earthly idea how these superstars can maintain this intensity week after week after week.
It's not easy, JR. There's no off-season. It's not like you've got 6 months to recover after WrestleMania.
That's for damn sure. And that's why I don't think, well, you can't ever accuse the WWE fans of being shy. And there's the cover!
1, 2, 3.
I don't think there's going to be anything left of these superstars by the time they're done.
There may not be, King. They may well annihilate each other here tonight. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears have been shed in that very ring.
And I think there's going to be a lot more shed here tonight.
No doubt about that, King. These superstars are going to leave it all in the ring. You can count on that.
Oh, man. I've been in this hole before, JR. This brings back some bad memories.
I can understand why, King. I can't even imagine the pain being inflicted here.
I can't remember the last time I saw superstars this fired up. I don't think they've even considered the possibility that they might not win this thing.
There's an awful lot of pride on the line here, King. No one in that ring wants to have to go back to the locker room as a loser.
He can pin him right here, JR. Oh, boy. You might want to close your eyes, JR. This one could get ugly.
You're damn right it could. It could get bowling shoe ugly. And that's what this business is all about. It's not ballet, you know. She's got her opponent in position, and I think we know where this is going.
We sure do, JR. There's that signature facebuster of hers. Boy, these superstars sure have their hands full here tonight, JR.
They sure do, King. They've got all they can say grace over. What an incredible performance by these phenomenal superstars.
Did you expect anything less, JR? I mean, look who's in the ring right now.
No, I didn't, King. I had high expectations, and I'm happy to say that this match has exceeded them all.
Listen to the crowd, JR. I think they've got something to say to these superstars.
And if they're smart, they'll listen. Remember, without these fans, these superstars are out of a job.
Can you believe we actually get paid to do this job, JR?
It's like a dream come true, King. Except when I have to sit here and listen to you drool over the divas.
Come on, JR. You know I'm helpless when it comes to puppies.
Oh, I know, King. And that's why I'm bringing the picture. The submission has been expertly applied, and now it's just a matter of time.
That's right, JR. You've either got to break the hold or get broken by it. I thought I'd pick the winner before the match started, JR, but now I'm having second thoughts.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, King. Usually I wonder if you've even had first thoughts.
I think these superstars have a legitimate beef with each other, JR.
So do I, King. I'm not so sure their issues with each other are going to be solved with one match.
I hope not. I'd love to see them go at it again and again. Now remember, kids, whatever you do, don't try this stuff at home.
Absolutely not. Even these trained professionals wind up pretty badly banged up after a match.
I could watch these superstars go at it all night, JR.
So could I, King, but all good things must come to an end. Let's just hope it just doesn't end too soon. The submission is locked in. This could be huge.
Oh my gosh, JR! You can't go long without tapping after this. Remind me to never try and step between these guys, JR.
That would be hazardous to your health for sure, King.
I think we're going to find out just how much punishment the human body can withstand here tonight.
I think you're right, King. These superstars seem intent on taking each other to the limit.
I love that attitude, JR. Go big or go home.
Well, these superstars sure aren't going home until this match is settled once and for all.
It looks like they're slowing the pace down a bit here.
Maybe so. But one or two big moves could completely change the complexion of this match.
I'm not sure I agree with what the crowd is chanting, JR, but I guess it's their right.
You're damn right it is. It comes with the price of admission. This is a classic matchup, King. I'm so glad the WWE fans are getting the chance to see it.
Yeah, and I'm happy that I'm getting to see it too, JR. I just wish they'd pick up the pace a little.
Oh no, this is classic old school wrestling at its finest. You, of all people, should be able to...
I've pinned a lot of superstars in my day, JR, and it's tougher than it looks.
No question about that.
Here's your winner,
He had to work for that pin.
And tonight, he was the